Hi, this is David again. I decided to tackle a subject that I'm going to call my BYU, Brigham Young University education. I have a 1972 degree in social work, child development and family relations. Gosh, it's been a long time. From BYU in 1972. And since that time, I've gone to Northeastern State University. I have a master's degree from that in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. And I got 28 units towards a master's degree, a second master's degree in Springfield College in Springfield, Massachusetts. And I've had a couple of classes at Westfield State College and Ventura Law School 1 year. And I kind of wanted to compare and or just divulge maybe or expose the difference in education at different universities and what I learned at BYU. I certainly don't want to be ungrateful for my BYU education. The tithe payers of the Mormon Church paid for 75% of my education at BYU, mostly because I was young and white and delightsome. The church now has a perpetual education fund for anybody that's a member of the church, black, white, brown, that can attend universities in their own countries. And the church will loan them money to do that. But those church members have to pay 100% of the money back. I didn't. 70% of the money for my education at BYU was gratis, free. So those brown-skinned people, generally speaking, can borrow money, and the church exploits that we're not discriminatory and we let everybody borrow money. But they don't tell you that these brown-skinned people and black people have to pay all of the money back with interest. So, God, I can hardly keep a straight face. Half of these videos crack me up. I can't believe that I believe this crap. I'm not that stupid, but I was. So, I appreciate the free money that tithe payers gave me. And I don't feel any obligation to pay them back. And I feel no obligation to keep the secrets of the Mormon Church because they paid money for me. My experiences at BYU probably aren't that unique, and maybe they're not that interesting. Just like I always say, just throw it in the trash. But I went in as a freshman, of course, and I didn't have great grades. I barely got into BYU. It was a kind of a thing that maybe Jesus helped me in. Being an atheist, I just have to do some Jesus jokes now and then. But anyway, I had a difficult time adjusting from high school into college. No one prodded me. I was on my own. It's my responsibility to get my own classes, to pay my own tuition. Dad didn't do that. No grants. Oh, excuse me. Wait a minute. There were a couple of Pell Grants that I did get when I went to BYU. I lived in Chipman Hall, which is a dormitory next to the football players. I can't remember. John Hall maybe is where the football players were. And that dorm was always spilling over with water, fire. Those football players, they know how to party. I don't care if they're Mormons or not. But us little BYU kids would look over to John Hall, these big old football players. They'd stuff up the toilets, they'd stuff up the showers, and they had all kinds of fun over there. Then we'd go over to, I can't think of the name of it now, but the place where you eat. And the football players, they all got extra food. Us little pee-wee guys, we got one meal, and we were happy to get it. And the football players got these two big old massive meals, and they ate, and they just kind of ran the place. And it was known, if you screw with them, they're going to kick your ass. So anyway, I had trouble adjusting, and I got a little roommate over in Chipman Hall. There's two people that live in the same room, and his name was Dwight. Now that might be a hint. that Dwight and I didn't really get along real well. And Dwight was a non-member. Almost unheard of. Now, why BYU would put a non-member in my bedroom, I think it was only to curse him and to torture him. I don't know. But anyway, Dwight and I didn't get along real well. He's kind of a wimpy guy, kind of revenge of the nerd kind of a guy. And one day I threw his underwear out on the window, the balcony outside, and he had to go and get it, and I snuck out of the closet when he went to get it, and I shut the window, and then I left. I was sick then, wasn't I? He was a non-member, and they put him with me so he would join the church. Well, I was gone, and pretty soon I could hear BYU security talking to him over a bullhorn. He's out there in his underwear, trying to get his underwear, and I guess they sent a ladder over or something, because we were up on the second floor, I think. And they got Dwight off of there, and then, of course, the missionary mother of our floor in the dorm, he wanted to chat with me. The Mormon church has been having these chats with me for 50 years. None of them have done any good at all. The education itself, I don't look back on it and think it was a poor education. I do look back and think that so many religion classes, I think I had to take 32 religion classes to graduate from BYU, and they weren't really informative religion classes. I was a 4-year seminary student, so I'd already had the Book of Mormon, the New Testament, the Old Testament, etc. And many of the classes in religion in the 70s at BYU were only Mormon classes. You couldn't get world religions or Catholicism or Hindu or Muslim. You couldn't really learn about other religions. You were just more indoctrinated into the Mormon church. I felt that the campus was clean. No one smoked, no one drank. Well, they obviously did smoke and drink in different quarters, but not on campus, and most of the kids obeyed the honor code, and I did. Here's what I guess is the main thrust of my presentation in this video, and that is this. So many religion classes, that didn't help my education at all. Did it hurt me? I don't know. That's hard to project. I don't know. If I could have got better jobs or more jobs if those 30 units had gone towards some type of part of my major. The point is that when I graduated from BYU, I didn't realize that I had a, God, I'm going to use the word substandard education. I had been led to believe by the Mormons that, gee, if you have a degree from BYU, it's Harvard, it's Princeton, it's Yale. I believed that. Until I went out in the job force, I believed that. I thought I had one of the Ivy League degrees of the world. Well, I didn't. And it's been kind of humiliating and humbling and embarrassing to realize that that education was, you know, past high school, but not much. And I wanted to know more, and so I registered at Springfield College in Springfield, Mass. when I was still working full-time and supporting my family. And I began to take some real college classes with real professors. Now, one of the problems I had at BYU, he's dead now, it's just lately dead, the last year. Truman Madsen was one of my professors. And I had a philosophy class from him, and I went up after class and I said, you know, this sucks. I don't want to know about Plato and you know, Socrates and that. And he was a pretty good person. I really have a lot of respect for Truman Madsen. And he said, well, David, he says, is there something else you want to do? And I said, yeah, I'd kind of like to study out-of-body experiences, astral projection. And he says, well, that's an interesting subject, but, you know, if my higher-ups see me allow you to do that, I won't have a job. That's typical. That's typical of the Mormon hate. They're going to indoctrinate those professors are going to indoctrinate those kids, and that money is going to just keep flowing to Salt Lake City. Well, he allowed me to do it, but I wasn't allowed in class anymore, and I had to bring the paper to his house at night, so no one knew that I was turning a paper in. He gave me an A in it, and it started my mind towards extrasensory perception, psi, PSI, trailing, research, and getting in touch with J.B. Ryan, the father at Duke University of parapsychology. And it was an entirely new area for me, and it was not one that was allowed in the Mormon church, so I had to kind of keep it underground. But those were kind of some of the things I was exploring. And so I felt that, and I know now, there's BYU professors that are fired, there's BYU professors that if they can't get a temple recommend, I know one that wanted to work in a soup kitchen in Provo and wouldn't go to sacrament meeting. He lost his temple recommend and they fired him. So, if you're going to join the Mormon cult, you better get in up to your neck. Don't get in up to your waist, because they'll cut your head off. They will cut your head off. So I went to Springfield College, and there I did some research with emotionally disturbed children and telepathy, and did pretty well on my statistics, and I was impressed, but I didn't know if they were correct, or I should be impressed. So I traveled to Duke University, and I made an appointment with J.B. Ryan, Dr. Ryan, and he looked at my research, and he said it was excellent, and he said, "You've done a good job. Go back and do a confirmation study." So I had 10,000 responses. He wanted me to go back and get 10,000 more, which I did, and it did come out basically to the same P level, 0.001. So it was significant, and that was a good start to a good education. And I had several professors at Springfield, and there I was able to be, in the newspaper, talk in a TV show, and express some of my ideas, and kind of get exposed a little bit to the real world. I wasn't used to that at BYU. My entire life at BYU was controlled. And there I began to become very involved in the community, and grant writing and funding, and federal and state organizations, and policies and procedures, the Department of Mental Health. It just goes on, but it got me away from that BYU education. Then I went on to my master's degree at Tahlequah, Northeastern State University, and there I really began to get an education. There weren't any religion classes, excellent professors, excellent classes, a lot of challenges, working in groups with people. The groups in the class were against each other, sometimes with each other. I learned a lot about human behavior, a lot about myself, and a lot about real education. I've already been to 4 years of seminary with the LDS Church, now 4 years at BYU. And so, in summary, I guess what I'm saying is that my BYU education, I today think, was substandard. It was more like a junior college education, because it was made more to indoctrinate me than it was to educate me. So by getting out and getting into other universities and having other experiences and writing a thesis and whatnot, I began to see what real education was. I have 2 children. One of them is a CPA that came from BYU, and I have another one that is a court transcriber, and she didn't graduate. She got right to the last semester and didn't graduate. But I didn't find BYU hateful. I didn't find it, a negative environment. I enjoyed the snow and the girls, and oh God, you could go to football games and the Wilkinson Center and all of the activities and the dance classes I loved. So my experience at BYU is mixed. Now looking back on it and being in real universities that have real life questions and no answers. See, one thing at BYU, there's an answer for everything. Now here's the answers. When I started asking hard questions at BYU, here's the Mormon answers. We don't understand God's ways. God's ways are not our ways. If you wear your garments and just pray, you'll feel okay. God works in mysterious ways. We don't know why this is happening. Well, if something negative is happening to you, it's because you are not living the commandments. You really need to repent, go to your bishop, talk to him, and get in line with the church, and You'll make money, you'll have a good job, and things will go well for you. The Mormons are programmed almost like a robot. No matter what you say to them on a hard question, say, well, you know, in a polygamous marriage, when the Mormon church stopped polygamy, did they just send all the wives and the children into oblivion? Didn't the man have to continue to support them? And he probably loved his children and his wives. We don't ask those questions. Those are things that the Lord will handle during the millennium. We don't know the reasons for the Lord, and we don't know, many times the prophets will tell us things that we don't understand, but it's our job to obey. It's our job to follow. Obedience is the first law of the gospel. They are programmed, and I don't care. I've been on the email a little bit, and you know, the responses are just getting way too many, and they're all for Mormons. You know, I'm not trying to get anyone out of the Mormon church. Gosh, you know, send the missionaries over here. I'll interview them on camera. If you like the Mormon church, stay in it. Don't look at my videos because they're going to bring questions up. That's what happened to me. I brought questions up and suddenly my mind turned on and my mind is going, gold plates that are missing and gone to heaven? And you're trying your faith because there might not have been gold plates? Maybe they were? Well, wait a minute. Marrying 14-year-old girls? 14-year-old girl only brings two things to a marriage. One's a teddy bear. I'm going to let you guess what the other one is. And I don't think Joseph Smith was too much into teddy bears, to tell you the truth. So, my education at BYU, a little substandard, nice environment, clean environment, safe environment, but mentally certainly not stimulating until I got into the real world. So, those of you thinking of going to BYU, gosh, go to BYU, and if you're white and delightsome, you get a 70% discount. If you're dark-skinned and you're in Cuba or South America, you're going to pay 100%, but the Lord's church is going to bless you with a loan, but you're going to pay it back with interest. The white kids go to BYU almost for free, 70% discount. Go figure. It's what Jesus wants. It's what he told the prophet. Thanks.